Hello, I'm Bob Shilling. You may have seen a rant or two. Maybe a balanced observation about narrowboating and canals. I have a view that I wish to share with you about towpath anglers. Fishing people. It may be a balanced view because I really try and look at the pros and cons of towpath anglers. You decide. A cautionary tale. A neighbor generously bought the man down the road a vast amount of fishing tackle, everything he needs, including tent and stove, plus fishing licenses and even club permits, etc. The grateful recipient was so delighted with this generosity, and seemed to have totally dedicated his new life to fishing, often all day and all night. The generous donor was pleased too, because now he can shag the angler's wife much more often. Anglers are very much part of the canals and may have been fishing them as long as canals have been around. So, why is there a vast number of differing views with narrowboaters? Some welcoming, some hostile. Personally, I think size has got a lot to do with it. I think there's a vast difference between a fishing rod and a humongous pole. Let's examine the poles that are all too often used by towpath anglers. Those that go over the towpath, like hurdles on a racetrack. If you're taking a steady walk along the towpath and you encounter this obstruction, is it a hurdle to climb or jump over? Is it for limbo? Do you have to stop and wait for Mr. Angry Angler to go through some ritual of winding in and moving his resting scaffold, as well as other palaver, so that you, a humble walker, can continue your right of way that he blocked and moaned about? Did he have any thought or consideration for towpath users, or did he shrug his shoulders and think, sod them? There is a plus side to this towpath obstruction: they make joggers and cyclists stop in their tracks. So, that's one issue with anglers obstructing towpaths. What about the canal itself? Was the canal intended for fishing? Were any provisions made for anglers to enjoy their sport without interruption from narrowboats? If we go back a couple of hundred years and look at the sole purpose of the canal network, it was to enable barges to travel from one place to another, without let or hindrance, other than stopping to pay their tolls, of course. Or am I wrong? The anglers feel they need to use these excessively long poles so they can extend to the middle of the cut. Possibly because that's where the fish are greater or easier to catch and to avoid getting snagged up in the undergrowth. That's all fine and dandy until a narrowboat is cruising towards the angler. Why is the narrowboat in the middle of the canal anyway? Says Mr. Angry Angler. Anyway, he now must wind in his line, pull back his pole, block the towpath, sling some abuse at the narrowboat crew, and then rinse and repeat. The sound of a Lister engine a few minutes up the cut gives them enough notice to adjust the traditional fishing rod, let the narrowboat cruise by, even exchange pleasantries, and both parties share the canal. Towpath users enjoy the towpath without obstacles, and everyone is happy. Anglers do have a place on the towpath. It's great to see those who occupy their space without causing obstruction. Should those who use obstructive poles be allowed to fish on the canals? Please comment below. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more from me, please subscribe by clicking the link below so that I can let you know when other videos are released. And just remember, if someone buys you a shed load of fishing gear, go home early.